Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Story number 1, The Indomitable Human Spirit. Written, Hope Data Adam. It's over. The interrogator electrocuted the human again. The biped screamed out in pain from the vaults as I stand behind the glass watching the human's vitals. His heart won't be able to take another shock. It is beating fast and becoming erratic by the second. If not through cardiac arrest, then heart failure will kill him. Now that's done. Your species is finished. No point in resisting. It was true. I witnessed the fall of the last human bastion on Earth. I watched those walls crumble, the towers fall, and the ground blast. I've inspected countless human bodies, read the statistics, analyzed the reports. Earth, the home of humans, is torn apart. After decades of war, the humans have put up a valiant effort against our attacks. At first, we only wanted to enslave the humans, just like we had enslaved the griffins and salamanders. We committed agents onto Earth, manipulated their leaders and elites, but they continued to resist. Humans were capable of defending their soil from our infiltrators. After a decade, they had mastered tracking, arresting, and killing our kin. It was impressive. The salamanders fell within 2 years, and the griffins, even with their biopheromones, fell within 7. But the humans pushed us back and locked down their home planet. We began preparing for a more direct approach, but the humans began preparing as well. They sent thousands of ships into space, established tens of outposts and habitation modules, mined the celestial bodies of the solar system, and built their military presence. As in their nature, they were still splintered within, but masterful maneuvering kept them down the path of resistance. A decade after we scaled down infiltration missions that instead began sending combat task forces to low Earth orbit, the humans had built a fleet of their own. Imagine our shock when we discovered that it was a close fight. The humans' ships were more maneuverable. Unfortunately, they lacked the Delta V to fight in orbit. In 3 years, our fleets were positioned in low Earth orbit, and we sent down occupational forces. Yet again, the humans fought back. We landed in what they call China, in the middle of a desert. There, it was easy to subjugate the remote villages and settlements. We faced contact with organized resistance. The PLA had arrived to push us back. Compared to their ships, their land forces were pathetic. In each confrontation and engagement, human battalions were easy to dispatch. We gained ground, expanded into Mongolia, and south towards the high mountains. We put all of our forces into bulk at the foot of the large mountain range. It was there that the humans did the unthinkable. They launched a tactical nuclear strike and decimated our army, crippling our ability to fight. Then a combined Chinese, Indian, and Russian force pushed us back to our forward base, and eventually back into orbit. We interrogated our human contact aboard the flagship on the Second Fleet. They had assured us that they will not use nuclear weapons on their own planet. It was there that they revealed themselves as a double agent, citing that our mistake was to think that humans will not annihilate themselves to annihilate us. And they proved it to us a second time by detonating an antimatter bomb on board the ship, engulfing the Second Fleet. It was then clear to us that humans will never submit until there is nothing left to defend, nothing left to cherish, nothing left but their broken homeworld and scarred bodies. We escalated orbital bombardment, terror attacks, landing more and more of our troops on Earth's soil, trampling human bodies beneath our feet. Today we've won, Earth is conquered, and the humans broken. But we didn't want to return empty-handed. The entire objective of our subjugation was to enslave the humans. If we do not return with some human slaves, we'd be shamed. At least, with some human slaves, we'd be able to breed them up. But if we bring none, the mission is all for nothing. Expended our entire arms and resources to destroy a planet and make a species extinct. Not very productive. Where's the rest of your kind? We suspected them of underground, deep bunkers, We needed information now. The human chuckled, followed by a hacking from the mouth of red blood spat onto the floor. But the human continued laughing. Oh, gory, gory. What the hell of a way to die. Oh, gory, gory. What the hell of a way to die. Some sort of military cadence. The interrogator gazed at me as I tried to decipher what it could mean. It could be a code, coordinates maybe. Be clear and concise, then you may keep your life. The human laughed again, even louder than before. Do I have to say it to you like that wasn't a clear enough hint? The room was silent and the interrogator looked confused. Feck, you! That standard human insult. I'm dying here, and I'm content with that. So, screw off! I couldn't come up with anything, so I waved to the interrogator, and he raised the electricity. The shock coursed through its body and fried its heart, falling limp. Bring me the next one! And my colleague dragged the human body out to fetch the next one. I turned to my other instruments, one being a light packet interceptor. The humans used them for long-range communications, so it was useful. But recently, it was very quiet, and understandable. They'd been destroyed, after all. It chimed up, and I gazed into it. I tuned the amplifier to get a clear broadcast, then played it back. The screen shifted, and showed a human astronaut helmet. The victor is not victorious until the vanquished does not consider himself so. It is not over. Every resource shall be utilized, every hurdle overcome, every injustice will be repaid 100 and then 1,000 times over. And when we finally meet those responsible for the murder of billions in a field of battle once more, we'll bring down upon them 100 hammers of justice and 100 missiles of revenge. Mercurians, our home needs us, and when Earth has been reclaimed and the alien invaders beaten back, the entire galaxy will know that they came to the wrong neighborhood and knocked on the wrong door. End of story. Story number 2, A Brief History of Plasma Weapons, written by Arctic YT99. Hello, class. As per the curriculum, we are here to study warfare and the weaponry with which it is fought. Today, we'll be looking at plasma weapons and their history. Plasma weapons first came about from the Terrans pre-FTL in the year 1900. First accepted into service in 1911. For reference, this was 250 of their standard revolutions ago. At the time, they were incredibly primitive and simply called flame-throwers. No more accurate terminology would be a plasma thrower. Beginning with large tanks of combustibles and only having a range of 30 common lengths, about 40 meters for the Terrans in the class. They proved to be very effective at dealing with fortifications. It is with the continued use, however, that it was decided that it was too imprecise to be used anywhere there could be non-combatants. This is to say that they would not be using it in populated areas, and strictly low-population regions like forests. About 150 years later, when the Terrans first began space combat between planetary nations, the humble flamethrower saw a new purpose. Tell me, class, why is it that the fire is so dangerous in 0G? Because the heat and flames expand in all directions, and the flow becomes unpredictable. Correct. Mostly, though, there is one thing that you are forgetting. Heat is very difficult to dissipate in space, requiring radiators which cannot be opened during combat. The Terrans, having a good idea of thermodynamics at this point, realized this and understood that they could quickly end battles via setting enemy ships on fire with self-oxidizing flames. Now, their humble flamethrowers still had an issue with range. This led to the creation of hypergolic thermite torpedoes that would be fired at and subsequently coat ships in hypergolic fuels, and thermite as the name suggests. Now armed with the knowledge they had, the Terrans then sought to change ground warfare as well. Interestingly, development in cutting tools helped. Imagine a cutting torch using acetylene and oxygen, and you'll be halfway to understanding how their plasma weapons work. Turns out, the surface tension of particles can still hold to each other, even when highly energized. This just requires a precisely cut barrel to rotate the plasma in such a way as to maintain the cohesion. For fans of kinetics, this cutting is very similar to the rifling used in stabilized bullets. These technological advances then led them to the plasma lance, a rifle-type weapon that takes the term firearm literally and has a range of 300 meters. It may not be a long distance, but do note that most small arms engagements happen at about 200-meter distance. For every plasma weapon after that, it is the same concept as the plasma lance, but different scales, or more precise shaping. The Terran Army's plasma cannon is a great example of this, having a range of 1,500 meters, and capable of cutting most armors with ease. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for class today. Be sure to do your readings. There is a test in 3 comrades. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.